Greetings, fellow televiewers on the Amazonian Communication Network. Greetings, fellow Amazonians. My name is Capo Daniel, the spokesperson of the Amazonian Governing Council. Today, I want to bring to you a presentation about what is happening in Kwakwa, in particularly in Masanga, Eko village, where more than 30 people have been slaughtered in cold blood. I'm going to give you details about this. But first, I will bring a video of an intro, like we always do before we launch our program. Fellow Ambazonians, welcome once more to the Ambazonian Communication Network. I'm Capo Daniel, the spokesperson of the Ambazonian Governing Council, aka Sense Pasking Una Own Countryman. Our country people, today I want come with una for very bad news where it done broke all our heart. As a matter of fact, I be so broken after I watched the video them where they come from inside Kwakwa for Masanga Eko village. For some small village for inside there for inside there they call an Bakinjua village. Where some death ceremony if it take place, funeral if it take place for day, then be attacked and a lot of people then be slaughtered. Over 30 people then be confirmed dead, amongst them five Nigerians where they be for that village for come buy cocoa. A very sad weekend for Amazonia. This one are the second massacre we don't get them for the great state of Manu. It just be heartbroken. I watched those videos and I could not continue. I just stopped. I was having some social times, relaxing, trying to catch up some relaxation with my friends. And I watched that video. I just went back home. I just fell on my bed. I slept. I could not imagine the type of barbaric actions, murder of our own people. I'll give you the video and I will give you more about those who are behind the killings and I'll give you the truth about it. We have had some preliminary investigation about what happened. We have spoken to the traditional leaders there and the surrounding village. It has been a case where we have been monitoring for some time and I'll present to you exactly what is happening. And we want to also thank and recognize the statement put out by Reverend Fonki of the Presbyterian Church, the moderator there, a very fine statement. We encourage and we have always been asking for religious authorities and religious institutions when gross human rights violations and killings of unarmed people take place in our territory, they have an obligation to speak out and at least tell the truth to the international community. It makes it easy for justice and for peace because we keep on insisting and fighting to tell the truth, and it's sometimes very difficult when those who are supposed to be the guardians of our morality, the church, the politicians, the elite, they fail to speak out for these people who cannot speak for themselves. That should have been the rule of the church, of the elite, to speak out for those who cannot speak for themselves. And we are very happy and we welcome the statement made by the Presbyterian Church, and it just gives you a very good background of what has been happening. It established the truth so that La Republique will not spin it around and politicize something that is so evil. And let's watch the clip and let me share with you what happened. I'm sure most of you have watched it from social media, and I want to bring it to you as well. And I'm going to put it in perspective and take you to what has been happening in Ambazonia to this regard. Sorry, I have to take some time to locate that particular video. So this video, the way it be recorded by an eyewitness, somebody where it did for the ground, for inside a called Masanga, a core village, the particular place that they call Bakinjwa. Bakinjwa is a small village for inside Akwaya. When I first see the person, it just dumbfounded with the sheer brutality of this attack for this village. House after house, it done be destroyed. Even a small business place for Corner Road, they done burn up. The silence of the person.
They have burned that compound down there to the ground. Oh my God. This is really terrible.
The silence, even for the person where you record the video, it tell a lot. When I watched this video the first time, my heart just be broken, because my initial reaction before I contact our organization and our leaders, our troops on the ground, to find out what happened, I just know that this is the handwork of La Republique. But it's not entirely the case. We are going to tell you what we know. But I was just so broken of the barbarism. I was just so shattered to see families, civilians being killed in this manner. So maybe we watch them and I will get to you the bottom of what happened. So this one, now wait till we happen for inside Ambazonia. Bikes destroy, even goats killed.
Killed plus goats.
We don't spend enough time for educate our citizens then. No matter the trauma we our people then go through when they get such attack, they must narrate to the viewers, because most of these messages they make and for cry out and for tell their story for which way it happened. They must talk the location, they must give the time, and they must explain who committed this atrocity. They must gather evidence, because we know say Cameroon they always commit this type of atrocity, but they must put perspective in these videos. But the lack of this perspective in this narrative where the person will record this video again, it tell a lot about the shock we will be inside. This action be carried out by Cameroon military. Be carried out by Cameroon military. There might be some Cameroon military inside if the investigation is going on, but we are sure that it was not carried out by Cameroon military. This is Ambazonians killing our own people because of a tribal problem. We are very happy to see that the Presbyterian Church have come out to really explain what was happening. And I'll put it into perspective. But for the people who died, let us speak about the truth of what happened. And then we'll move on to put it in perspective. As you know very well, the Presbyterian Church have put out a statement that details the problem we have had here. It's all about two groups of people. The elite people, they call them elite people, and the Masanga or core people. These two villages have been fighting over a farmland. They call it Efambe. Efambe is an area where the soil is very, very fertile. Efambe area is a valley type of area, a very huge land there that is very fertile for cultivation. And this land, this tribal problem have been adjudicated already. It is on the record, undisputed, that this farmland belongs to the Masanga Eko people. But because in Elite village, the people want to farm there, and they don't want the people of Masanga Eko to farm in this land, they have been having problems. I'll get to you to know how these problems, these tribal problems that have died down for a long time, have been rejuvenated across Ambazonia, and who is behind these things all. So the people went there. They had actually been attacked before. Previously, they tried to stop them from working farm in their land. They resisted. It led to fight between the two villages. One sub-chief was killed at one point, and his body wrapped into a bag and dumped in a valley. That is when we first came into the scene, and our leadership, we tried to talk to the villagers and talk to them, find out what is going on, and to try to protect this thing before it really escalated to what it has become today. So these two villages have been fighting over this particular land, and because the people from Eliti village, who have more Ambazonian fighters in that area, were fighting for this land, they seek the Ambazonian fighters their help. The whole issue was generated and provoked by the Cameroon military, who seeks to hold a stronghold in this area. Kwakwa area is one of the first areas that the ADF had a big camp there. It was also an area where Sokadef was strongly established. We had strong Ambazonian control over this area. La Republic had no way to penetrate. In Mavas area there, the youth, after the coming of the whole IG concept, they just abandoned the structure of the military wings of the Sokadef and the ADF, and most of them went under the IG. And the IG provided no guidance, no political leadership over this group, so they are basically on their own. Very fine men who are lost because they have no political control. We have also had a video played by the IG care by soldiers who come from this area. They have shown some video that they are soldiers, they have bought them weapons. So the IG is definitely involved in those soldiers, their life. And I think because of lack of strong command and control and political ideology, the boys are susceptible to be manipulated and used in these tribal attacks. So this thing have nothing to do surfacely with La Republique and Ambazonia. It's a tribal problem, as the Presbyterian Church have rightly said. It is a tribal problem. But the Cameroon government have sought to establish itself and have exploited this problem to cause our people to slaughter each other and justify their presence. So this attack took place. I'll play the video for you to see. It was a tick for tack. The Oliti people, because they were weaker, the Oliti people were stronger because they have a strong Ambazonian forces base. The ARF is strong there. They have a big force there, the guys in Mavas. And the people in Masanga, Eko, they did not have that presence there. From what we know, the fighting started where strange youths come out from nowhere in Eliti, claiming to be from Eliti, and get villagers beaten up in that area. And the people of Eliti, the people of Eko, Masanga Eko, they now were feeling that they are vulnerable, and then the Cameroon government, they step in and say that we want to help, which has always been their way to operate. They say that we want to help. And the village head there, he went and allowed the Cameroon military to come inside and occupy a hospital that was abandoned. Because of that presence of that Cameroon military there, the chief of that village now was seen as an enemy by the forces who are in Eliti. That chief was eventually executed. So Cameroon government have been manipulating these people using false flag attack, using her own paid agents in Masanga, a core village, to come and attack the people in Eliti, and then come around to tell the people in Eliti that they will protect them because they want to come and attack the people in Masanga, a core village. Sorry, excuse me. To justify their presence there and get sympathy. It has degenerated in this issue where the people in Eliti, the elites there, because they can no longer go and farm in the farm area, the Ufambe area, because the Cameroon military now was backing the people of a core village and stopping the people from Masanga, a core, to farm in Eliti, to farm in that area. Then the people now in Eliti, the elites there who could not farm, they gather money, raise money, went and hire people from Nigeria, even hire people according to our sources. We are still investigating, but we now know that some Amazonian forces in Ebekwa will also receive money to join that fight, and likely The commander, who is called Fear No Bullet, was likely involved. We have to be very frank with our people for justice sake, because we cannot see our people dead like that and we play games. So this is what we know, that likely these Ambazonian forces were also hired by the elites in Eliti to go and attack the village of Masanga Eko, so that they will continue to have access to their land. This is how these boys were deceived and used to commit this atrocity. So you have a group of elites who have been fooled and challenged. Who knows, Cameroon military might have even been the people who went and paid Ambazonians to come and attack their own village. Because in our history, we have never seen Ambazonian carrying out such atrocity against our own people. We have never seen this type of phenomenon in the history of our territory. So we definitely know the newcomer, the new person who can inject this type of venom. This is a funeral that was attacked.
Yeah, this is a village vigilante.
So this vigilante that you see here are the product of the Cameroon military that have entered into this small village that they call Efambe. That area there, the Cameroon military have come in there now and tell the people of Eko that they will protect them and start training vigilante, telling them that this vigilante is to fight the Ambazonians, that the people in Eliti are having Ambazonian forces help. So they also have to have their own force. We have tried and tried to reach out and de-escalate this situation. But they were engineering people, provoking each other to fight and slaughter each other, to justify their presence and to use it to blackmail us. That look, see Ambazonian killing themselves. It's very sad. But the greatest ingredient that has helped La Republique to succeed in manipulating our people to kill themselves is the lack of political leadership. If the other factions that have loyalty of these forces were involved in this thing, they could have told their forces never to engage in this type of actions, or will wisen them up to the manipulation that was going on by La Republique. We have seen the same thing across Ambazonia. So 30 people were slaughtered. I cannot even show the images because children
this unit, but I couldn't because they run short of bullets. Oh my God.
So I'll pass it there. I don't want to show the graphic images because of the children out at home watching us on TV. But it's very, very bad. 30 people killed by people who were engineered by Cameroon. And how did this happen? I want to explain to our people what is really going on. And this education is very important that our people get it. How do we get here where our people are doing things to ourselves that had never been done in any time of our history? Cameroon is playing by the old books of colonial ship. We have seen it, whether it is the apartheid regime in South Africa or the blacks being engineered against blacks in America or across the globe. Colonialism have the same playbook. For me to take you into Ambazonia to know what is happening, how Cameroon is engineering, paying Ambazonians to fight each other, looking into cracks within our community, even within our movement, supporting and sponsoring Ambazonian activists to come as agents provocateurs to provoke each other to fight each other, so that it would divert attention from them. It would divert our focus against a common enemy. When you start with a project or you carry an action, Cameroon is engineering hatred and jealousy, telling you, oh, the comparison, this group against this one, this group against this one, putting us against each other to divert our attention against a common enemy. This is a video I want you to watch. And you see at these tactics as it was used perfectly in South Africa. This is a testimony of a South African soldier who was used by the apartheid regime to instigate black on black tribalism. I think it's a perfect way for me to explain to you what is happening by showing you this video. Let's watch it and then I'll take you back to Ambazonia.
Hey, I was a conscript in the South African Army in 1988 and 89. used to have to do 2 years. 1989 was the last year of having to do 2 years of compulsory military service as Nelson Mandela was led out of jail and we moved towards the first free and fair elections in South Africa. But I was based up in northern Zululand near a town called Matubatuba in 121 Battalion, which was a Zulu battalion with a small cadre of white officers, but all the troops and a lot of the non-commissioned officers were Zulus. And one of the things that was going on in my area, because I was the law officer covering a very large area of northern Zululand up to the Swaziland-Mozambique border, was a small group of recce officers. That was like our equivalent of the SAS, Navy SEALs type soldiers, training local Zulu men to go up to the townships and the mine hostels around Johannesburg and in the Transvaal to deliberately foment racial tension and violence with other tribes based in those hostels and townships. And this was a very deliberate strategy of the South African government and the South African military at the time to create black-on-black violence, to detract from the potential for black-on-white violence, which in those days was very low because we had a very strong and violent police force.
So this is the perfect explanation for what is happening. I think using him to explain to you what is happening in Ambazonia is the best way for me to do that, because sometimes it's very difficult to really explain to our people what is going on. So this white South African, it explains, say, if it work for South African government, they be train a very specialized force for them, not be the regular force. They be the recruit Zulu boy them, train them for go attack other people them for inside their own city, for inside hostel them where people they be work for mine. They go for go attack them in the name of Zulu. Train them when go attack the other people in the village, when go attack the other village, so that intertribal conflict it go detract the population, their attention for the white majority way now they be actually they subjugate them. Now the best explanation this and the best example for now for learn about the tactics where Cameroon military they use them for Ambazonia. The Cameroon military, where they know say them be outnumbered in terms of population, they no get support. Our people then be angry against them. To divert our people their attention, the Cameroon military, they arm and train the so-called vigilante for target other villages along rifts, tribal problems, to generate hate against each other and create a space for the Cameroon military for day inside Ambazonia. A perfect example for let una make una know say this phenomenon it happen across Ambazonia. I go take una for inside Akwaya. For inside Akwaya village. This was a picture of Akwaya when the IG became most of our forces they go join in the IG. So this one now the images for inside Akwaya, town where Ambazonia bidan kick la Republique du Cameroon. No, for inside Nwa. Town where Ambazonia bidan kick out la Republique inside Nwa. All they use them, I mean almost all man for inside Nwa, it will be for inside Ambazonia fight. But because the ADF abandoned, they come out of Nwa. And the forces of Nwa, their general Black Snake, he decided for day under IG. At that time, Nwa this na some Nwa bide. When I watch them
on the screen, you are seeing our boss, the general of Amba Black Snake, with his team. They are on their actions, well ready, well fixed. Whether come by night, come by day, enemies surprise them, they are ready. And you look at them, they are in different moods. And in their mind, you can understand something from their mind. And I believe, when you look at their weapons that are not.
So this was the image of Nwa, a strong Ambazonian stronghold that La Republique could not penetrate. Even the presence of La Republique military in Nwa, in their bunkers, they were not comfortable because they don't have any sympathy from the population. What did they do? Ngala Gerard, they connive with some Hausa people, Mororo people who are there. Because the Mbororo people who have their relative across the border in Nigeria, who are being chased away by the Eastern Security Network of the Biafra people, are looking for new grazing land. They tell them, for you people to solve this your problem for grazing land, partner with us, give us some few of your Mbororo youth to fight against these Ambazonia groups and create a base for us in Nwa. Then your brothers will be able to come into Nwa and do their cultivation, and their forces will be able to stay there and they will fight against Ambazonian fighters. So that is how Ngala Gerard, they brought in Fulani people to come and attack Ambazonian forces in Nwa. So that Ambazonian forces, in response to this attack, will start attacking the Mbororo communities who will feel vulnerable, and this situation for them to be protected, they will now need to call for Cameroon military presence in Nwa. And that is exactly what happened. At that time, we told our soldiers in Nwa, don't attack the Mbororo people because they don't want this thing. It is just few Mbororo leaders, few corrupted Mbororo people who don't even live in Ambazonia, who live in Yaoundé, who are part of the network to supply Yaoundé with cows, in Douala cows. These are the people who have been approached by Cameroon military to use them to engineer this infighting in Nwa. Just like they are doing now in Akwaya, just like they are doing in Tembao, the Girong people and Tombo people. They are doing the same thing across Ambazonia. And they went there, they start to attack them, they responded in kind, and La République du Cameroon, their military eventually come there. So this is the agenda when those attacks were going on in Nwa.
That is not the situation. I want to plead to the entire elite, the people of Nwa, that we should join hands together and see how we can resolve this problem, especially in Ting Tong. They should put a military barrack in that area in order. If they put a military barrack in Tong, I think the whole of this subdivision, even Bui, even the whole Northwest, will be safe from these separatists because their weapons come through that place, penetrate through bomb.
So La République use their agent to create problem, and then they come to offer to be the solution. They turn the people against the Mbororo and the Mbororo against the people, and then they come now to justify their presence. You can hear the Mbororo agent who live in Yaoundé now telling them that the solution for this problem is for La République to open a barracks there. The same thing will happen in Akwaya, where La République could not be received. They want to generate that problem to justify their presence. And our people should know the people behind this killing are the same elites who bribed those soldiers to come and kill their own village people. They have an agenda to bring La République presence in our territory. This is exactly what happened. And the Cameroon military comes there, systematically arm youth and send them out to go and kill our own people. You remember in Womb, the same thing happened in Womb, where the Cameroon military, let me play the video.
Yes, why do you vex? Qu'est-ce qui vous énerve? What happening? Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid.
So these are Mbororo youths. There is another video we have for an undercover Mbororo youth who recorded the conversation they had with these youths inside a bar in Womb. A Cameroon military approaching them, telling them they are going to arm them to fight these people. Engineer them, give them weapons. You know that Cameroon military will not allow youth to approach their checkpoints carrying machetes and then guns. But you can see that the Cameroon military allow these people. They reinforce them, then guarantee them and push them to go and attack the local community in Womb. So what is
Ça, c'est le courrier de la communauté Bororo qui ont décidé en découdre avec les Zamba Boys. Ils sont insaisissables. Insaisissables. Nous avons fait ce que nous avons pu faire, mais là, ils se dispersent dans toute la ville.
So you can hear the Cameroon military This boy they go for go attack na civilians them. The military they talk say they go fight against Ambazonian fighters them. For spin the problem and then talk say the boy that they go then be armed, they know the intention of these youths them because they don't be the people the way their intelligence service they don't generate this activity. Then they should not have to play the good guy. They allow these guys watch them, knowing very well say they go attack civilian them, and then do very well, then go attack the civilian them. And at the La Republic, their military, the same group, it come for that place where they don't go attack them, burn people alive, and then they make videos.
C'est des grades ici.
You can recognize the voice. You can recognize the voice of the same Cameroon military commander, where he be there with those youths them. He see them how they go for go attack. He definitely get intelligence for know the place where they go attack them. Then go attack them after, then come for dinner, they tell these people that the one can help, the record video.
De la communauté Mbororo qui vient de mettre le feu sur ce père. Nous sommes arrivés avec beaucoup de retard, nous n'avons pas pu intervenir à temps.
So in the year, the Cameroon military, it lies then come for them late, they not be fit intervene for stop this attack. Them allow those boys them for go carry out this attack because they be want that attack to generate tribal rift. They want to exploit tribal rift to get a place to stay inside Ambazonia. Now the proof of this. Cameroon military engineering tribal war. Even there is a case in a village there, two villages, Congo and Ko, still for lower for womb area for day. The same Cameroon military then send Bororo people for they can attack this village with little or no provocation. Because they be know say the Bororo people then want land for raise their cow, then pay some of their youths them, be then go attack this village. This village na Ngo and Ko village. Them attack them, burn down the palace for 14th of March 2019. The palace from Ko a be burnt. 4 innocent people them they be killed, neither die body than this, by Mbororo youth hired and paid by the Cameroon military. 18 houses burns to the ground. This atrocity, we have never seen this atrocity in Ambazonia for the decades and decades that we have lived together in peace with our Mbororo community. So this is what happened. This is the effect. They want to generate hate and tribal violence against each other. So that they will fight each other and they will take advantage for that fight to install themselves within Ambazonia. So this tragic way that happened for Ambazonia. Now the second time this, for inside the great state of Manu, where our people they bleed, with all the cry for innocent civilians the way they don't be slaughtered, instigated by the Cameroon Intelligence Service. Our people they need for wise up. We cannot fight each other. We cannot fight tribal war when we are facing an existential threat from La Republique du Cameroon. The people in Tambao and Jirong. A problem that had been resolved. The Cameroon military come inside them from the Ngarbu massacre. Guarantee the people from Ngarbu, for Ntombu, say they will give them land will not be their own. That's what they do across our territory. We must wise up. And any Ambazonian force where you participate for inside tribal war, be very careful. Watch out about the people that they want to engage you, they want to drag you into this type of conflicts. Because those people mean no good for you. And for all of our villages, where the Cameroon military or using their elites, who are mostly resided in exile in Yaoundé and Douala, to tell them to take political advantage of the Cameroon military to resolve problems they could not have their own way in. They should know that one day they will have to face the consequences of this betrayal. This attack is a humiliation, it's a shame, it's pure evil for us to watch our own people slaughtering themselves like this. It should never happen. The particular force, if indeed our investigation turned out to show that Piano Bullet from Mavas was involved, we will make sure that he will face justice for this atrocity. Right now we are investigating to get to the bottom of it, to know exactly who pulled the trigger, who committed this crime. But we know the motive for this crime. We know the person who benefits from these crimes. And we know the people who have been engineering this type of attacks in our community. It has been coming for a long time. These have all the handwork of La Republic to Cameroon, killing of our own people, wasting our life. They don't care about us. Ambazonia should wise up. As soon as we have a conclusive investigative report, we'll make that available to the general public. But for now, we must be vigilant and protect ourselves against this foreign snake that is in our house. Until La Republic gets out of Ambazonia, we'll have no peace. It's a monster living amongst us, and Ambazonia should come together and be effective to fight against these ills. We'll be bringing you more presentation about what is going on, the attacks in Bui, and many other things. The plate is really full. We'll take our time. Eventually, you get from our communication department updates from this event. God bless you all.